Trigger warning, I'm not telling this story because I want to hurt anybody or upset anybody. It is my lived experience, and I think it's kind of wild. I've actually made it through this to the other side, and I just kind of want to talk about it. But this is part 2 of how I was 19 years old and engaged to someone who had cancer, and also their power of attorney. So I made all their life-saving decisions when they inevitably ended up in the ICU on life support. Of course, because my life couldn't go any other way than the absolute furthest from okay. So anyways, picking back up, we moved into this apartment. Things didn't get better. And things were so bad in me and this girl's relationship that I started working overtime. 1, because they weren't contributing at all. 2, because I was paying all of our bills. 3, because I was just miserable at home. So then I literally started going to the gym after work because I was like, I cannot stand being home. It really stresses me out. And I made some friends at work that were like some really cute older people, and I was allowed to hang out with them. So I'd work out with my friend Amy. That's actually her real name. And she was great. We also would put sticky notes on each other's desks at work while we were taking calls to try to make each other laugh, and it was a lot of fun. Amy was always a ray of sunshine, and I wish I still had contact with her. She actually came to my first baby shower, and I love her for that. Anyways, moving on. We live in this fucking crackheaded apartment, and we're on the first floor, and this is a tiny, like, 800 square foot apartment, maybe less, and it has 3 entries. It has 2 sliding glass doors on the side of it and a front entry. This will become important later in the story, trust me. Things in my relationship had gotten so bad, like I said, I was avoiding going home, and she was a real fucking humbug. I was working overtime because she was upset that she couldn't buy anyone Christmas presents, and so I made an overtime check and split it and gave her half so she could buy the people in her life Christmas presents. And then I spent my half on getting her Christmas presents because she was the only person in my life. She demanded we do Christmas a few days early, and this led to some horrible meltdown where she ended up smashing all of her like homemade Christmas decorations from her child. And that's where I was like, I can't do this shit anymore. So I was like, I don't want shit to do with you. And I started living just for myself. I didn't want to move or leave because I had established a life in Plano, and I was working and had a really good job and stability and all of that. So I wasn't like, I'm leaving you, get out of this place, or I have to get out. I was just like, I'm doing my own thing, and whatever happens, happens. And so I started, we started sleeping separately, either her on the couch or me on the couch, all of that. It was just really hard to be 19. I think at this point I'm probably 20. Be 20 and, be taking care of someone who's literally not contributing at all or doesn't give a shit about your well-being. At one point, I went to the grocery store, my car died, and I called her and was like, hey, can you please come pick me up? And she wouldn't, so I had to hike home on the side of the road in Dallas with $300 worth of groceries in the rain, and she just didn't give a shit. She just ignored my calls. And then when I got home, she was just sitting on the couch with her lazy ass and was like, what happened to you? And I was like, so all these things are happening, and they're saying they want to lose weight, and I'm cooking meal preps for them, and fucking go, lo and behold, I'm making all these healthy meals for myself because I'm always on my meal prep grind. Everybody knows that about me, and I have been since I was very young. And I'm making them for her too, but she's going to work and throwing them in the trash and asking her mommy for money. Back when she was working, she had a short stint of work where she was working at the same place as me because her mom got us both jobs, but I was the only one that got to keep the job because I was the only one doing what I was supposed to be doing. Anyways, all that to be said, one day I get home from work. It's a beautiful day. I have a great day at work. I'm vibing. I'm fucking driving home my little Ford Focus. Windows down. Hip hop and what the hell am I trying to say? R&B blaring. There we go. R&B blaring, just having the best damn time of my life, my whole life. Now mind you, because I was seethingly lonely, I bought myself 2 Yorkies. Duh. I love Yorkies. And I was going to breed them eventually. But I found 2 male Yorkies because I was just increasingly more lonely as this relationship was falling apart and deteriorating. They were 2 teacup Yorkies named Nike and Cannon. And so even when I would come home from the gym and doing my stuff, my overtime, I would completely avoid her by playing with my dogs. And she even made some comments about how jealous she was of my dogs. And this day I get home from work and I go to leave or go to get in our place, and the door is crowbarred open. The door is crowbarred open, and I had physical rent money in my jewelry box, and my jewelry box was lifted and the rent money was gone. My 2 Yorkies had suddenly disappeared, but her ugly ass mutt was there. By the way, that dog was super aggressive and wouldn't let anybody in the house, and so I don't know if you could predict where this is going, but no, we're good. Yorkies were gone, my rent money was gone, my laptop. All of her belongings untouched, her curved TV untouched, everything that belonged to her untouched. I called the police because I'm scared there might be an intruder inside, but I'm also pissed. So I'm like, someone needs to come out here, someone broke into my apartment. The police come out and they're like, who lives with you? And at this point we're not together, so I say, my friend. Police get there and they're like, I just want to let you know that whoever lives with you is most likely who did this. Mind you, my partner had a crowbar in the back of their car, and the way the door was open was it was crowbarred open. So I knew they had this in their possession, and yeah, and the way that the door was like gently pulled closed afterwards was kind of crazy. Like the most polite fucking burglar ever. I start blowing up her phone like, where the fuck you at? Come help me, what is going on? And I keep getting sent to voicemail. Now, she had recently started a loose job in sales, but after weeks and weeks and weeks with no check, I was starting to get suspicious that maybe she wasn't fucking selling shit, but a lie and a dream and a hope in the toilet. Yeah, so she was working in sales and didn't answer the phone. And when I finally did get a hold of her, my mom had already made it all the way from Fort Worth to Frisco to get me. I broke down and called my mom after no contact and was like, I don't know what to do. The police are saying she did this to me, and my mom hated her. So she was like, yep, she did. I'm coming to get you. Pack your shit, essentially. So I did. I felt so betrayed and disgusted that this person I had just cared for the past year and a half could do me like that. And to this day, I still have no fucking clue where those dogs are. I don't know if she killed them. I don't know if she sold them. I have no clue what she did with them. Okay? So, all that to be said, I go back and live in Fort Worth, and I start occupying my parents' empty guest bedroom. And this empty guest bedroom I work out of. I still keep my job. I just moved to a remote status. It was lovely. I loved that job. It was not that hard, and it was super easy to do. And I got paid really well to do it. Thank you. Shout out to her mom for getting me that job. Although I had a background in medical and med-term, which helped me nail the interview. So, all that to be said, I was working, and then eventually she starts blowing up my phone. I didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do that to you. I love you. I was at work. I'm just trying to get better. I'm just trying to not be lazy. You're mad at me because I'm lazy and I'm just trying to work. And over time, this starts to wear me down until I eventually move her to Fort Worth with me. But not before she calls me and says, I just went to that doctor for the lump in my throat and the symptoms I was having. She had like this huge lump on the side of her neck, and I was like, you need to like take care of yourself and get that checked out. I think you like have thyroid problems if this is your symptoms. Like, you're super tired, you feel like you have to sleep all the time, all of this shit. I'm not gonna go into further details because it's a little invasive, but like, I was like, all of these are kind of adding up to like a thyroid problem. I think you should see a doctor. And she just refused the whole time we were together. Maybe she was scared, I don't know, but it got really big, like really big. She finally goes to the doctor and she's like, I have cancer. I have stage 4 cancer. I already had the biopsy, and this was after like a week of not talking. My dad's in town. I have the biopsy. We're at the oncologist right now. They told me I have cancer and I'm getting a port put in. I happened to be in town because I had to do something with work or drop something off or get something. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I started to feel really bad because I was like, are all the reasons I didn't like her simply because of the cancer? Am I being unfair to this person that I've just dedicated my past year and a half to, who I've lived with and who they got me a job? Am I being ungrateful? Maybe she isn't this person that she's been lately, the grumpy, the angry, the mood swings, the sweats, the vomiting, the not wanting to get up, the being lazy. Maybe that wasn't her fault. And how am I going to fault her for something that literally cancer caused her to act like? This was the single biggest mistake I ever made in my life, because the way things escalate next ruined me in a way I can never describe. And I'm going to post that for y'all soon, like right after this.